what can investors expect and how the markets could potentially perform under President-elect Trump the second time around? We want to bring in our next guest, Gaurav Mallik. He is the Pallas Capital Advisors Chief Investment Officer. It's great to have you here. So how should investors be thinking about the setup as we look into 2025? We have certainly gotten so many market outlooks here over the last several weeks, and it seems like the resounding consensus is a bullish setup heading into the new year. I guess more specifically, what do you think that is going to look like?
So I think the question is for us, certainly as we look at the next year, what has already gotten priced in, right? So there is a lot of bullishness that came out soon after the results came out of the election. The fact that the Republicans are going to control all the three houses, the two houses and the White House. Now it's a lot about what the actual earnings are going to look like for firms. I think that has not changed. Unless we see a follow through of these elevated valuations by a really corresponding increase in earnings, I think this rally can sort of pause. Our perspective, looking at the last administration, we do think one area to focus in on is CapEx. CapEx is a really nice theme. We think it's an enduring theme for a few years, and we're looking to play that in every possible way, in public markets and private markets, private credit, infrastructure, everywhere we can. The combined effect of both the Biden administration's spending on CHIPS Act, IRA, that's likely to continue for several years, plus the move the Trump administration is looking to make with regards to deregulation, potentially bringing down corporate taxation. All that plays really heavily into this CapEx theme. So I think that's where we feel most comfortable about. Today, at a very high level, looking at the S&P at whatever 22, 23 multiple, it needs to have earnings that build into that multiple. The current expectation for next year is about 30% consensus. We're somewhere a little bit lower than that. We think maybe it's 11 or 12%. The market is pricing in closer to 20, 23%. I think that's the part that you've got to put some emphasis around. We do see generally a broadening of the rally. So we do think some of the sectors you were talking about, small caps, financials, could grow and show some nice earnings. But it's really a lot about earnings as we look at really what is it that's going to drive the actual, can the earnings grow into the valuation that we're seeing today?
Certainly. A lot to unpack there. I want to focus in on the CapEx component that you were mentioning, because how do you suspect that investors will grade the type of CapEx and the scrutiny, I guess, in some of the spending or intention of the capital expenditures that companies are announcing and putting forward, and how and on what time frame should they expect real gains to be actually priced in to the valuation and put into the valuation based on kind of the realized financial performance?
Yeah, so I think that number one, like if you think about strategic sectors, like chips is the one to think about for a second, right? There's a lot that's been done, a lot of plants and lots of things being put up. We have to see what the execution is going to look like on that front, but we feel pretty comfortable and confident that there's going to be some moves in that area. We're very comfortable and confident that the AI theme is going to continue. So again, data centers, the energy needs, which are massive by any stretch of the imagination. The amount that's already been allocated by the Congress towards infrastructure, but has actually not been used. So industrial sectors, defense, I think that's going to be an area where not only the Trump administration, but I think on a global basis, you're going to see a lot more expenditure occurring in that area. So those are the sectors to look at: the industrial sector, the construction sector, the defense sector. Those are the places we're going to see some chance to play into that. On the private side, I think still there's a lot to be done with roads and bridges, renewables on the energy side. Those are the real nice things to play on the private side.
Gaurav, thanks so much for taking the time here with us just after the opening bell. Appreciate it.
Thank you.